Okay, so get this. I actually went to a pottery meetup this week.
Wait, hold up. You had a pottery meetup.
I know, right? But a listener recommended we do a deep dive into this book called Taking the Work Out of Networking.
Oh, interesting.
And it got me thinking, maybe I need to, step out of my comfort zone. Plus, I kind of have a thing for those tiny sculpted mushrooms. You know the ones.
Okay, that's fair. But were you actually, networking or just admiring the fungi?
Well, this book kind of blew my mind right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
It compares networking to, get this, farming, not hunting.
Oh, farming.
Yeah. Chill out. It's not some competitive sport, you know? You plant seeds, you nurture relationships, you see what grows.
Okay, I see where they're going with that. Less pressure, more of a long game kind of thing. But Isn't that kind of passive, though? What if you need something right now?
That's where I push back, too.
Yeah.
You know? But the book argues that even us introverts have these, networking superpowers.
Superpowers?
Yeah. We're good listeners. We observe. We're genuinely curious.
I'll give you the listening part. But sometimes your curiosity leads to, unnecessary purchases of mushroom-shaped pottery.
Hey, those are handcrafted. But, at the meetup, I actually found myself enjoying the conversations because I was curious about what people were working on, so maybe the book has a point.
All right, you've got me intrigued. So besides telling you to take up pottery as a hobby, what else does this networking Bible suggest?
One thing that really stood out was this idea of being open to connections with anyone, not just people you think will be useful to you.
Wait, hold on. Isn't that the whole point of networking, though? To meet people who can help you achieve your goals. You're saying I should just chat with everyone.
I know, it sounds super counterintuitive, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the book argues that you never know where a connection might lead. They actually had examples of people landing amazing opportunities through, the most unexpected encounters.
Like becoming the pottery kingpin of the Tri-County area.
Okay, maybe not that. But seriously, think about it. What if you only talk to people in your immediate field? You miss out on a whole world of perspectives and potential connections.
All right. I see your point. But what about actually, building those relationships? I'm more of a quality over quantity person,
Well, the book really emphasizes giving as a key part of networking.
Giving.
Yeah. It's not about what you can get from people, but what you can offer. Like sharing resources, helping someone out, even just offering support.
I'm already feeling exhausted. Isn't that setting yourself up to be a doormat?
Hold on. It's not about being a pushover. It talks about this reciprocity principle. When you genuinely help someone, they're more likely to reciprocate. It builds strong bonds.
So you're saying that if I show up to the next pottery meetup with a kiln, everyone will want to be my friend?
Maybe not a kiln, but you get the idea. It's about small, consistent actions, like congratulating someone on LinkedIn, sharing a relevant article, or just sending a quick message.
So I can actually be productive while scrolling through social media? Now you're talking my language.
Right. And the book goes into how to use social media authentically.
Yeah.
Not, broadcasting your whole life.
Yeah.
But showcasing your interests, your expertise to build trust without oversharing.
So I don't have to post pictures of my sourdough starter every 5 minutes. Relief.
Exactly. But we're just scratching the surface here. We haven't even gotten to the really juicy stuff yet.
Oh, there's more. You're killing me. But all right, I'm definitely hooked. Lead the way.
I just want to give another shout out to Micky from Mickytolife. His channel is a treasure trove of inspiration, and he's a huge Sip&Talk fan.
Absolutely. Make sure to check him out and maybe even share your awesome podcast intro with him once you've created it. Oh, networking guru. All right, networking guru, let's get back to those juicy tips. Where were we?
Yes. Social media and the art of not being a total oversharer.
Right. So the book actually talks about having different social media personas. You could be the minimalist, who curates content and shares interesting things, or the cheerleader who amplifies good news and stuff. Interesting. I think I'd probably be more of a lurker who just occasionally pops in with a witty comment. But the idea of having a persona, that kind of takes the pressure off a bit, doesn't it?
Exactly. It's about finding your style and sticking with it. And speaking of finding connections, there's this whole concept of weak ties that I found fascinating.
Weak ties. You're losing me now. Sounds a bit flimsy for building a network, doesn't it? Shouldn't we be focusing on strengthening the connections we already have?
I thought so too. But the book, and even some other research we looked into, actually makes a pretty strong case for these weak ties. Basically, people outside your usual circle, like former colleagues, people you met at conferences, even friends of friends.
So basically anyone who hasn't blocked me on social media yet.
Huh. Well, hopefully.
Yeah.
But the point is, these weak ties often have access to information and opportunities that you wouldn't know about otherwise.
Okay, I can kind of see that, like getting a fresh perspective or tapping into a different network or something. But do you have any, like, real-world examples? Because I'm still a little skeptical.
Get this. Just the other day, I was talking to a former classmate, someone I hadn't seen in years.
Oh, wow.
And she works at a company that I've, been dreaming of getting into.
Really?
And guess what? She knew about a job opening that wasn't even posted online yet. Talk about a weak tie coming through in the clutch.
Oh, that's actually really impressive. Okay, so you're saying I should be digging through my old yearbooks and sending out a bunch of LinkedIn requests.
Not necessarily digging through yearbooks, but the point is, stay open to those connections, even if they seem distant. You never know, right?
Okay. I'm starting to see the light here. But how do you actually, nurture those weak ties without being, creepy or desperate? I don't want to be the person constantly sliding into DMs asking for favors.
That's where the book's advice on giving comes in handy again. Instead of, just reaching out when you need something, try sharing an article they might find helpful, or congratulating them on an achievement.
So it's kind of like the social media equivalent of sending a holiday card. Just a little gesture to stay on their radar.
Exactly. It's about being thoughtful and genuine. And hey, if you really hit it off with someone at a conference or something, don't wait weeks to reach out. Strike while the iron's hot.
Okay, that's a really good point. I'm definitely guilty of, overthinking things and letting opportunities pass me by.
I get it.
But there's still one big hurdle I need to get over.
Let me guess. Real-life, in-person events.
You read my mind. Ugh. How am I supposed to network when just thinking about a crowded room full of strangers makes me want to curl up in a ball?
Don't worry. The book has some solid advice for that, too.
Okay.
And it's honestly not as scary as you might think. They actually encourage focusing on quality interactions over quantity.
Quality over quantity. I like the sound of that already. Less is more, right? But how do they suggest we achieve this, quality interaction nirvana,
Well, they advise picking, one or two people that you genuinely want to connect with, and just having, a meaningful conversation. You don't have to work the whole room or anything.
Okay, 1 or 2 people I can handle. But what if those conversations, hit a dead end? Awkward silence descends, I just want to disappear into the cheese platter.
Well, the book actually goes deep into the art of conversation.
Yeah.
Making small talk work for you.
Small talk, isn't that the bane of our introverted existence?
I know, right? But hear me out. It actually argues that small talk can be a really valuable tool for building rapport and, finding common ground.
Yeah.
But you have to approach it the right way.
Okay, I'm listening. Spill the secrets of small talk mastery. It's the magic formula.
One tip is to keep it observational. Instead of, the usual, what do you do interrogation, comment on something you both observe in the moment. Like, wow, this line for coffee is longer than a Tolstoy novel. Or, that's an interesting painting. What do you think it means?
Okay, I see what you're saying. It's less about, prying and more about finding those little shared observations that can spark a conversation.
Exactly. They also suggest tying your small talk to the context of the event. So, if you're at a conference, you could ask someone, what sessions are you enjoying? Or have you heard any interesting speakers? It's a natural way to find some common ground.
So instead of talking about the weather, I can actually engage with, the reason we're both there. That makes a lot more sense. But what if the small talk just isn't flowing? What if I'm just stuck in an awkward silence and want to, teleport back to my couch?
They actually have a whole section on graceful exits.
Graceful exits.
How to politely excuse yourself from a conversation without making it weird. It was great chatting, but I'm going to grab a refill. Or, I promised myself I'd check out that booth before the break. It was great meeting you.
Ooh, graceful exits. That's a must-have skill for introverts. I'll definitely be studying that section closely. Okay, but what else did they say about small talk? I'm actually kind of curious now.
Well, one of the most interesting points is that you can use small talk as a stepping stone to more meaningful conversations. If you sense a connection with someone, those initial exchanges can help you kind of gauge their interests, see if there's potential for a deeper connection.
So it's kind of like using small talk as a litmus test. If there's a spark, then you can take the conversation further.
Exactly. It's about being open to possibilities, but also selective with your energy and, focusing on those connections that actually feel worthwhile.
Wow. I'm actually really starting to get this. This whole networking thing isn't about being fake or like schmoozing. It's about being authentic, leveraging your strengths, and building a network that actually adds value to your life.
Yes. It's about, how we define what that makes a relationship valuable.
It's about one of the biggest mistakes we introverts make. We wait too long to reach out after meeting someone.
Seriously, that's it. I thought there was like some secret handshake or magic phrase I was missing.
I know, it seems so basic, right?
Yeah.
But the book says we tend to overthink things, and then opportunities slip away.
Ugh, tell me about it. I have a mental graveyard of all those missed connections. But why is it so important to reach out fast, especially for, us introverts?
Well, they explain the longer you wait, the harder it gets.
Right.
You start second-guessing yourself, overanalyzing everything, and then the moment's gone. So true. It's like I build up this mental wall, and then the whole task feels impossible.
And honestly, you don't even need some super elaborate message or perfect excuse. Sometimes a simple, "It was great meeting you at the conference," or "I enjoyed our conversation about X," is enough.
So it's more about like keeping that momentum going instead of waiting for the perfect time to reach out?
Exactly. They even suggest setting a time limit, like 24 or 48 hours, to reach out after meeting someone.
Oh, that's a really good tip. Like a self-imposed deadline, so I don't fall into the procrastination trap.
Right. You know what else really stuck with me? The book emphasizes that networking isn't just about, career stuff.
Yeah.
It's also about expanding your horizons, learning from people, just building a community.
I really appreciate that perspective. It kind of takes the pressure off a bit, makes it less about some transactional obligation and more about just like connecting with people.
Exactly. Which brings us to our final thought for today's deep dive. Ready for a bit of a brain teaser?
Hit me with it. Challenge accepted.
Okay, so if networking's really about genuine connection, how do you define what makes a relationship valuable? Is it about what you gain, or is there something more to it?
That's a really good question. I think for me, a true connection goes beyond just like shared interests or career goals. It's about those people who challenge you, inspire you, maybe even make you laugh so hard milk comes out your nose. Maybe that's just me.
Hey, we all have our quirks, right? But seriously, I love that. It's about those relationships that just like enrich your life in ways you didn't expect.
Right. It's about feeling seen, feeling heard, feeling understood. Those people that just make you laugh, make you think, make you glad they're in your life.
Couldn't have said it better myself. I think that's a perfect note to end on.
Totally agree. This whole conversation's actually got me feeling way more optimistic about this whole networking thing. Maybe I'll even venture out to another event sometime soon.
Whoa there, speed racer. But hey, if you ever need a networking buddy, you know where to find me. And to all our listeners out there, we'd love to hear from you too. What makes a relationship valuable to you? Come share your thoughts with us over on social media.
Definitely. Oh, and don't forget to check out Micky's channel for even more great tips on networking and personal growth.
Yes, definitely check it out. All right, folks, that wraps up our deep dive into taking the work out of networking. Hope you found it insightful, maybe even a little inspiring.
Until next time, keep sipping, keep talking, and keep those connections flowing.
Cheers to that.